Bleach 1000-Year Blood War has finally finished its first core very strongly with the 13 really high quality episodes that I cannot wait to go back and just rewatch in a binge. And I'm probably going to do that watching the dub so I can hear a lot of the English voice actors, as I did start watching Bleach with the original English dub, so I honestly can't wait to see what voice actors are returning and how they're doing it. I saw clips Johnny Young Bosch back as Ichigo. I'm so happy that I actually get to watch all this all over again. But enough about me just gushing over my plans for a rewatch. Bleach 1000-Year Blood War had its, honest to god, really strong start. Probably one of the strongest starts out of almost any other anime this season or even the year. And that's saying something, because there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of top tier anime that came out in 2022 alone. And fall 2023 had the release of Chainsaw Man, which is another really good anime that is finishing its first season. And yeah, it's honestly kind of crazy that we had Bleach and Chainsaw Man in the exact same season, and they're both had really awesome finales with really well done adaptations. But I honestly think that Bleach did have one of the strongest starts due to the fact that it not only kicked off this brand new arc as if we were just continuing, but it's consistently kept not just movie quality visuals and direction, but also really great pacing, and the soundtrack got an update, a remix for a lot of the classic tracks, and even some new stuff. And that opening, I really liked it. Same with that ending, really awesome. Though the thing I want to just get at is the story being told in 1000-Year Blood War. There is going to be some light spoilers for the 1000-Year Blood War, so if you're watching this and you haven't seen at least the first 6 or 7 episodes, I'm basically going to be using that first half of the core in like some light spoilers, so come in with caution. But the base concept of the 1000-Year Blood War arc, the final arc of Bleach finally being adapted into an anime format, is basically the war between the Quincy's that have re-emerged and the Soul Reapers in Soul Society. And let me tell you, I honestly was all in for this story. It's something that I was honestly curious about, considering that Uriel was the only Quincy, well, him and his father, but now we're getting the reveal that there were actually Quincy's hiding in secret somewhere, and I'm honestly curious to see how they've been hiding all these years. And the main villain, Yhwach or Yhwach or something like that, or Yhwach, I'm still not good at pronouncing his name. Either way, the main villain is honestly incredibly intimidating, honestly terrifying as well, with just how he's able to casually just body his own subordinates with just the flick of a wrist. And that fight he had against Yamamoto, I honestly am kicking myself over it, because I covered Bleach for a good 5 weeks of the anime, but I had to stop due to the fact that I was covering too many stuff all in 1 week, and it was getting exhausting, and I wasn't able to do much recordings or get anything out on time, especially for Bleach, due to my own scheduling and IRL stuff. But I ended those reviews after the Yamamoto fight, and I really wish I kept on going at least until episode 7, because episode 7, wow, Yamamoto versus Yhwach was honestly freaking incredible. The episode after that, where Ichigo shows up, was honestly some of the best action and direction I have seen in a lot of anime, and even in just film and television in general, because there's just something about the rain being utilized in that whole fight, in Ichigo showing up to the Soul Society, the silence, the lack of music, and just the voice acting. It just brings everything together, showing the severity of the situation. Not to mention, we get to see a lot of our favorite characters do something, and we don't get enough time for everybody to get a full-on matchup. We focus on a few characters, but just some of the more important matchups, with a lot of attention obviously going to Yhwach versus Yamamoto and Yhwach versus Ichigo, which are both the best fights of the two contenders for the best fights in anime of the year. I'm saying it right now, if one of those does not end up being in, like, let's say the Crunchyroll Awards, which I know we don't really care too much about the Crunchyroll Awards, because
it stinks.
Now one of those fights doesn't get nominated or is even a contender, I'm just going to be pissed. But what the season does really well is to show an intimidating force that could actually dominate the Soul Society and all the powerful characters that we have seen up until this point. Before that, it was Aizen and the Arankars in the previous incarnation of the Bleach series with the Arankar arc, with them being very tough opponents and doing some really strong damage to the Soul Reapers, but in the end they did manage to win thanks to Ichigo coming in at the end of the day, and we didn't really get any real casualties on our side. Now though, we see a massacre of all the Soul Reapers, and just seeing a sheer sense of hopelessness in the situation, then hope again when Yamamoto comes in, and then we get to feel a lot of despair once more, which it's just really good to feel for a war arc, because starting things off with a bang, it's just really hard to do, and the action was consistent, which I want to say is probably most likely big thanks to Kubo for coming back to help write and fix things for this adaptation, because you can tell Kubo did say he was coming back, and he extended some fights, he added some stuff in terms of character conversations and interactions, some stuff about the lore of Soul Society and the past of Yamamoto a bit, and even getting some nice scenes with Uryu, because according to manga fans, those were added in. So we never got to see Uryu after like what would be episode 2 until like the end of this first core, which is honestly insane to me to think about. But then again, Kubo was dealing with a lot of stuff when doing the actual manga in terms of time constraints and health issues at the time, so it's nice that he decided to come back, talk with the staff and writing team as well as the animators to do something about this final arc, improve things, add things that he wanted to add in but couldn't, and just expand on the overall lore and story that he wanted to tell. This is the definitive 1000 Year Blood War arc, which makes my viewing experience even better, and I think Bleach fans in general are just very happy with this adaptation. I've said it way too many times, it's just a movie quality experience. For TV anime to have such consistent visuals and directing, it's just honestly incredibly hard to do unless you have a lot of time and effort, and I'm really happy that Studio Pierrot managed to do justice to this arc so far. And with that finale of the first core, I was so happy. I had the biggest smile on my face you cannot believe when number 1, the remix version, was playing at the very end of the core, with a really big thing going on with Ichigo in terms of his character, his growth, and I really wish I could just talk about it full on spoilers, but you really should just watch it for yourself, or rewatch it for all I know. I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be rewatching this core of Bleach, especially by the time the second core comes out. Which is another thing, we got a confirmation that the second core of the 1000 Year Blood War is coming out summer of 2023. So we gotta wait a whole 6-7 months until we get to see the first episode of the 1000 Year Blood War Arc 2. I'm happy for that. We get some time for the animators to touch some things up. We get some time to sit on what we got with the first core, and for anime onlys to stay anime only, to speculate what's gonna happen next. For manga readers to wonder what's Kubo going to expand upon next or add in that will enhance this viewing experience, which is something I'm really happy about, because if I'm being honest, after the Yamamoto fight, I caved in and I read the manga and I loved every second of it. And coming back and watching the anime weekly as I was going into the manga, I haven't even finished. I think the material I read is probably up to like the start or the midway point of what would be like the third core, if my math is correct. My math is probably very much off, but yeah, I honestly think I'm up to where the third core starts, or the middle of the third core. When an anime makes a manga reader feel like they're experiencing something for the first time and even elevates what they read to varying degrees, then that is a very successful adaptation. That is something that I cannot express how thankful I am that I went into this mostly blind, but then after catching up to the material that was being adapted and watching it again, it still felt new to me, and that's what's honestly the biggest compliment I can give to any anime adapting any source material. Make me feel like I'm watching something for the very first time. That's not something every single series does, because it's usually just one-to-one with some nice Sakuga moments with the action scenes. But to add in extra bits of character interactions, having the author themselves be a part of the writing process for these episodes and adding things in that he wanted to add, it just feels great. It feels like Kubo is finally getting the story that he truly wanted to tell, and you see it with all the passion that the animators, the studio, and the effects team, everybody involved has with it. All of the hype coming around from the announcement that the anime is coming back to the next few trailers that we got over the lead up to what we got right now in 2022. It's just insane to me to think about Bleach being back, and I'm actually experiencing it for the first time, very much so, and I just can't be any happier. It's definitely a 10 out of 10 adaptation, a 10 out of 10 season. It's just amazing all throughout, and I honestly cannot wait to see what happens next. I am so excited for Bleach 1000 Year Blood War. But yeah, those are my general thoughts on Bleach 1000 Year Blood War's first core. Very amazing arc, very amazing first set of episodes, and I cannot wait for the summer to come, because Bleach is going to be awesome, and it's going to be really awesome to look forward to Bleach. And hell, maybe by that time when it comes out, I'll be in a good enough spot to actually follow through and go through every single episode of the second core as they air. I know I was saying that for the first core, but due to, like I said, IRL stuff and time constraints, I was unable to follow through. I hope I can make some Bleach stuff for you guys here and there in the future, because I just love this series a lot. And I can't wait to hear your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. Did you like this first core? Are you an anime only? What do you think? What's going to happen next? And manga readers, try not to spoil things for anime onlys, how did you feel about this adaptation? Did it meet your expectations? Did it exceed them? Or did you think that it was okay? Leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. And if you want to see me do more Bleach content in the future, and if you would like to see me do Bleach reviews of the episodes, comment down below number 1, and if I get a lot of those, then I'll know your answer. But yeah, with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I rambled a lot, but hey, it's fun, and I like talking to you guys. I hope you all enjoyed, and hope you all have an awesome day.